Palantir has been one of the most followed stocks in 2023, rising over 160% on the back of the AI narrative. But what can we expect going forward in 2024? Today I'm going to discuss 4 key reasons why you should be looking to invest in Palantir right now. The current stock price seems really attractive, and I believe we could see great gains in the coming year for Palantir. Here are the reasons why. In 2024, it's not only Palantir's stock price that has performed well, but the company itself. Palantir has struck many major deals with companies and governments around the world. A key deal that the company struck in the last few months was the deal with the NHS, the National Health Service System in the UK. Now, unlike America, the UK has a public health system, so pretty much everyone in the UK is using the NHS. Palantir managed to score a £330 million deal in order to operate and manage the NHS data platform. Now, I know what you're saying, £330 million doesn't seem like that much, but bear in mind that the NHS has an annual budget of £168.8 billion. So, with that said, as we enter 2024, if Palantir can manage to operate this system well and make a name for itself in the UK, this will surely open up doors to more money coming from the NHS and also possibly more contracts from the UK government, and especially contracts in the defence sector, which is what Palantir has been better known for doing. What's also interesting to note is that there was a lot of controversy leading up to the Palantir deal. A lot of people felt like having a foreign company have access to all that data was kind of dangerous and could lead to problems. As we know, data protection has been an important issue in Europe and, of course, the UK. However, since Palantir struck this deal, we can see in this chart that most NHS users have not opted out from sharing their data with Palantir and the NHS platform. So this will allow Palantir to take the raw data, which is its key input, allowing them to basically take this data and optimize the platform. Now, the key contract that Palantir hasn't landed yet, but could definitely land in 2024, is the Titan contract. Titan, of course, is an acronym for Tactical Intelligence Access Node, which is a battle management system that the US Army has been developing. Over the last few months, both Palantir and Raytheon have been competing and developing prototypes in order to land this contract. As we can see here, the program dubbed Titan has been moving through a 14-month rapid prototyping phase, during which RTX, formerly Raytheon, and Palantir technologists demonstrated competing systems. The effort culminated this summer with a demonstration called a Soldier Touchpoint, an acceptance test aimed at assessing the two systems' technical performance and usability. So, both Palantir and Raytheon developed these prototypes that were awarded around $36 million in order to do so. However, the actual contract itself could actually be worth a lot more. According to recent data, we know that the US Army is looking at investing around $1.5 billion in weapons procurement, and a big chunk of this could of course go to Palantir if they do indeed win this Titan contract. The third key point or catalyst that I see for Palantir in 2024 is their increased profitability. Now, a lot of people are looking at Palantir as a growth company, but it's also very important to note that the company has managed to greatly increase its profitability and actually post 4 straight quarters of positive EPS. The increase in profitability is even more stark if we look at operating margins. As we can see, Palantir went from a loss of $62.2 million in Q3 of 2022 to a profit of over $40 million in 2023. Now, the issue with profitability has been a key pain point of Palantir, and a lot of bears have come out in the last year talking about how stock-based compensation is driving down profitability, how Palantir won't be able to be profitable, and this is clear evidence to the contrary. So I strongly suspect that in 2024, we'll continue to see Palantir to increase its profitability and post positive earnings, which opens up the door to our 4th catalyst for this year. That is, of course, the S&P 500 inclusion. Following its 4th quarter of positive EPS, the company has now met the criteria for S&P inclusion. While the criteria for inclusion and exclusion from the S&P 500 isn't exactly clear, every year we get around 20 companies taken out and then other companies included in the S&P 500. Examples of recent high-profile stocks that have been included are, for example, Uber and Airbnb in 2023. Now, what's interesting, of course, is that generally we see what we call the S&P effect. When a company is included in the S&P 500, the stock price tends to rise. This is firstly due to a technical reason. Of course, all the indexes that are tracking the S&P 500 will now have to buy stock from that company. On the other hand, of course, being included in the S&P 500 can raise your profile as a company and also open investment to other institutions. For example, when Uber was included on December 4th last year, we saw the stock rise 6.2%. Airbnb, which was also included last year, rose around 7.2% following the news. So, with that said, it seems like there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to Palantir in 2024. We have major contracts coming in. We have Palantir proving its worth to foreign countries like the UK, which will possibly lead to a lot more contracts coming in from abroad. And of course, we have the continued profitability and the inclusion in the S&P 500. After reaching $21, the stock fell to about $15 and has now rebounded nicely to about $17. If you ask me, the low in Palantir for this year is in, and we should definitely see this continue to rise up. From the wave perspective, I think we have now a pretty nice 1-2-1-2 setup. It could set us up nicely for a wave 3 rally, which could take Palantir all the way up to around $40 or even $50. As always, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like this type of content, macro or also in-depth stock research, I highly suggest you go follow me on Substack. I do a lot more there, weekly newsletter, in-depth stock research, and also technical analysis. Also, stay tuned for upcoming live streams, and I'll see you in the next one.